Hello, I'm Andrew, and this is my Series 3 of the weekly podcasts 50 Ways to Succeed at Work. These podcasts build confidence and know-how. Consequently, they can help you achieve happiness at work. By the way, that's also the title of my book, available at Amazon and from the book's website, My Happiness at Work. Now for today's episode in Series 3. This is episode 32. In Series 3, 50 Ways to Succeed at Work. Today's episode looks at, is your job a write-off or worth saving? Malcolm Lee is a senior manager on a health company's strategic marketing team. He recently felt like his job was small and inconsequential. Numerous tensions were getting to him. He often felt anxious and stressed about the news during working hours. With the world seemingly falling apart, my day-to-day Zoom calls and to-do lists felt so trivial, he says. Feeling this way was damaging his mental health and his career. He recognized that he needed to shift his mindset. To begin with, he decided to take a news hiatus. I was too distracted by the news, and I knew I needed to break my social media habit. He then set aside time to mull over his career and his purpose. I needed to take the focus off me and my perceived problems, and to change my perspective to see how what I did for a living helped fulfill the needs of others. Malcolm reached out to his colleagues on his team and gained a new perspective on how his work did help others. He also reflected on what motivated him and what he enjoyed most about work. This process enabled him to see how he could use his skills and talents for good. Nothing's perfect. Few jobs are perfect and bad days at work are inevitable. Frustration is bound to be part of almost any job. But is your satisfaction pushing you to consider quitting? Are you busy scanning job ads, vacancy lists, and places where you'd prefer to work? Maybe, but just maybe, your job is salvageable. Start a rethink by asking yourself just 4 revealing questions. Question 1 is my workplace toxic? If where you work makes you feel afraid, intimidated, demoralized, or devoid of values, it's probably time to plan your exit strategy. Question 2. Is my work problem transient or permanent? Before making rash decisions, consider whether your issues are a passing phase. For example, big stressful projects soon wrap up, new engaging ones invariably start, or unpleasant seniors may be exposed or thankfully move on. Question 3. Am I miserable or just bored? If you're not creatively engaged, any work can feel profoundly draining. For instance, are your days filled with tasks that turn you off, or do your responsibilities feel mind-numbing? Rather than the rapid exit, a review with your seniors could trigger a positive change. And finally, question 4. Am I part of the problem? Now is the time to reflect on your approach to work. Could you be going at things too hard or not hard enough? Also, consider your workplace relationships. Take a step back. If these are overly negative and focused on complaining, can you rediscover the bright side of your work? Finding meaning. In daily life, finding meaning can be a challenge when the world feels like it's on fire. You may wonder, what's the point? How can I break free of this negativity? Can I find a way to change my perspective on work? One way to reignite your passion and drive is to use your skills, experience, and values. Do you need help to rediscover your purpose? And what can you do to use the present period of pressure and crises as an opening to create meaning? While it's understandable that you feel your work has lost its purpose, rekindling it should be your top priority. Having a professional purpose and an identity gives your life meaning and motivation. Virtually nothing gives you more energy than having a clear purpose. Without one, even just getting out of bed every morning can become a challenge. Re-engage. However bleak things may look at work, re-engaging with your job and reminding yourself of who you are and why you do what you do doesn't demand a grand gesture or a journey. There are numerous ways to rediscover your purpose. Counter negativity. First, address the root reasons for your meaningless feelings. Most likely, stress is one of the culprits. In a typical day, you endure hundreds of micro-stresses. These are minor aggravations, such as a colleague hastily disagreeing with you in a meeting, a peer falling behind on a deadline, or an inconsiderable boss with a careless remark. Micro stresses affect your productivity and feelings about your job. You usually would absorb these little cuts, but they acquire a larger-than-life impact if your usual outlet for stress suddenly becomes absent. As micro stresses eat away at you, micro moments of pleasure can help you find your way back. Look for ways to feel good and uplifted. Read about real-life heroes. Take a nature walk. Attend an inspiring group online. Page through an art book or scroll through photographs of faraway places. Another step? Take a news break. News is so consistently negative and stress-provoking that it's hardly surprising that its negativity affects your brain and well-being. Permit yourself to avoid getting absorbed in the latest news for a day or an entire week as a trial period. You'll survive. You're not alone. Shift your perspective and remind yourself that you're connected to bigger things. A little self-pity about your work situation is fine, but avoid a woe-is-me mindset. How you live your life, spend your time, and use your abilities can determine whether you salvage your job or take steps to move on. And find your anchor. Ask, what drives me and what are my values? What am I good at doing? And what contributions do I wish to make? You don't need to cure diseases or save endangered species for your work to be meaningful. Think about what initially excited you about working at your organisation. Are there still projects and plans that invigorate you? And talk. Contact fellow team members about your present state of mind. Do they feel the same way? If they differ in their current view of work, could you piggyback on their energy and insights to help you regain your inspiration? Offer assistance. Being helpful is one of the most gratifying things you can do. Could you provide coaching or mentorship to a younger employee? Or volunteer to pick up slack for a team member who's struggling? And maybe offer support to a colleague in a different division. Explore opportunities outside your job at local political or community service-based organisations. Putting yourself forward in even small ways can be replenishing. Helping others provides meaning and satisfaction. Job sharing can be another way to spark your dormant enthusiasm for work. Look for ways to make new contributions to your job to make your presence at your organisation more meaningful. How could your strengths, skills, and passions help your organisation deal with crisis-related challenges? Show gratitude. Research shows that expressing gratitude can ground you. It can provide a counterbalance to the negativity that crisis and uncertainty generate. Simply telling others what they mean to you can be a rewarding, replenishing experience. Take a minute and say to someone at work, "I appreciate you and I enjoy working with you." Do it and check how you feel in the moment and later. Once crises pass, you may still desire a career change and can take steps to deal with it. Until then, ride it out and see if you can improve your current circumstances. And my final thoughts? Don't make a rash decision. If you're contemplating quitting, hold off. It's essential to be positive in the choices you make. Give your present role or organisation a chance to see if you can salvage your job. Review your options and talk to people you trust to ensure your present work perspective is grounded in reality. You've been listening to an episode of Series 3 of my weekly podcast, 50 Ways to Succeed at Work. You can hear the other podcasts at the 50ways.site, that's 50.site. There are nearly 100 titles and you can search for any issue that interests you. If you have any questions, you can always drop me a line from there. Also, check out my book, Happiness at Work. It's packed with great stories, compelling advice, and suggestions for tackling real issues that you can encounter at work. It's at Amazon or at the book's website, myhappinessatwork.com. There's also an audio version if you prefer listening. Join me next week for another unmissable episode in Series 3. Bye for now.